It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 8 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at things that we need answered in the back 8 of Season 8, or the second half of Season 8. So, starting off with one of the things that everybody is basically waiting for, it's the topic of many discussions, and recently everybody's been talking about this, Carl dying. So obviously he's bit, and in the mid-season premiere of Season 8, we will get to see him die. Now, the main thing everybody wants answered is how he's gonna die and how his death is going to impact everybody else, most specifically Rick and Michonne, and how his death is significant in moving the story forward and the events of the end of All Out War, which is something that's been teased by Gimple constantly. So just getting to see the ending of Carl's story, how it impacts Rick and Michonne, and also how his death will be significant in bringing the end of All Out War to the show. And the other things that go along with that is to basically see how Gimple is planning to justify Carl's death, because he did say that once we do see why we're killing him off, it would make sense and people will understand why we did it. So that goes along with that. Next, get a resolution for that dream sequence that we saw with Old Man Rick. We know that it's not a flash forward because Carl was in there. So obviously it was a dream sequence, but we need to know the significance and why they had that in there. And the other thing that goes along with this is to see that sequence with Rick crying with red eyes. So we need to basically see that as well and see how everything comes together in terms of what it's all about. And obviously both of these sequences, this one with the Old Man Rick and the one with Rick crying, are definitely related to the Carl death. So we need that kind of resolution and that reveal as well. Next thing that we really need to know is what happens to Maggie and why the hell is she not having her baby already. So we need to see that in terms of getting to see Maggie actually being pregnant, because at this point we haven't seen any significant signs. So that's something that they definitely need to show us, because the longer time passes, the closer we're going to get to that time jump that we're going to have for the next season. And I'm pretty sure they're going to want to have this scene with Maggie having her baby before then. So that's definitely something that's on my radar as well, because we definitely need to see it. And the other thing is to basically see more and more Maggie as being a leader of Hilltop, and also how this kind of new attitude she has is going to change her. Because we do know that she is going for vengeance, that she's doing everything she can to take revenge for the people that Negan has killed, specifically Glenn. And also Lauren Cohan, who plays Maggie, said that we will see a lot more of this new attitude of Maggie in the second half. So that's something that we will definitely be seeing in the second half, and something to keep our eyes open for. Next thing that we need answer is what happened to Gabriel, and is he going to survive? We know that he is sick, but we don't necessarily know whether he's going to make it or not. There's been no signs showing us that he's not going to make it. However, he is definitely very sick. So we need that resolution as well. Next, we need to know what happens to Jerry and whether he's going to survive. He's been captured by the Saviors. He's with them currently. So the big question is whether they're going to kill him or whether he's going to survive. So that's another big thing that we're going to have to keep our eyes open for. Next, we need to know what happens to Aaron and Enid. We know Enid killed Netanya, the leader of Oceanside, by accident, but she still killed her. So we need to know what happens to Enid and Aaron. Is Oceanside going to let them go, or are they going to kill them, or what's going to happen there? And also, what's going to happen with Oceanside? Are they just going to be out there by themselves, or are they going to join the war at some point in the future? At this point, it's very unlikely, but we need to get that resolution sooner or later. Next, we need to get a reveal of what the helicopter was that Rick saw and where it came from. Because we did see that in the first half of Season 8, but they never mentioned it again, and it's kind of been something that's forgotten. Next, which is the other big thing next to Carl's death, is the crossover. So we need to see what happens to Morgan at the end of the season, what makes him leave, and how he's gonna cross over to Fear the Walking Dead. So this is kind of one of those things that may not necessarily be answered in the second half of season 8, but we definitely might get some sort of hints or glimpses of storylines to come for Morgan in this crossover at the end of season 8. So something to keep our eyes open for as well. The next thing that we need answered is about Simon's past. So obviously, if you remember, in the premiere of season 8, there was a little very interesting scene between Simon and Negan. Negan saying, "Are we backsliding?" and getting very, very angry at Simon. So there's definitely some sort of history there. And if you've been following the channel, the speculation that we had was that Simon was the one that went to the Oceanside when they still had all of their men, and Simon was the one that executed all of the men by shooting them in the back of the head. That was a speculation that we had, or it was more or less a rumor. But we haven't got any sort of real answer regarding what that was. And it's something that I definitely think is important for us to get a reveal on before Simon dies. So I definitely think this is something we're going to have to keep our eyes open for in the second half. The next thing is, what the hell happened to Heath? And what does PPP mean? So for those of you that don't know, Heath disappeared in the first half of season 7, and we've never got any sort of hint or answers regarding his fate. So we definitely need to know what happened to him and what the sign that Tara found the last time that he saw Heath was. It said PPP, but we don't know what it stands for. We don't know what it means. And I definitely hope that the writers didn't forget about this. I'm pretty sure they didn't. But this is definitely something that we need to get an answer on sooner or later. And the closer we get to that time jump that I was talking about, the more unrealistic it would be to bring Heath back. So I definitely hope that we get an answer about this in the second half. We might not. I'm thinking we probably won't, but I'm definitely hoping that we do. Next is something that's kind of similar, is Sherry. Where did Sherry go? Will she return? Now, this is something that is definitely up in the air. We don't even know whether she's going to come back or whether they're just going to leave her story and never revisit her story again. But definitely something that we might want to keep our eyes open for, because she might pop up in the second half. I don't think it's very likely, but definitely something to think about and keep our eyes open for. And last but not least is, what is going to happen to Negan at the end of All Out War? Will they follow the comics or will they go a different route? So this is basically something that we're probably not going to get an answer for until the very last episode, but it's something that I'm definitely very, very excited for. But these are basically all of the things that I came up with in terms of things that we need answered in the second half. But I want to know everybody's opinions about all of these points and maybe other points that I forgot to mention. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.